Soulcalibur VI.
This is the game I've been looking forward to doing. I am MegamanNG and I welcome you to my playthrough of Soulcalibur VI. But it's not just any playthrough, I assure you. This is a bit special because this has not one, but two story modes. And I'm not kidding. Two different story modes at once? That's just nuts. But I'm doing this because I do not want this series to die. As you guys already know, Soulcalibur VI is the game that will make it or break it. And that's saying a lot. Because Soulcalibur V actually did a lot of damage to the franchise. Well, to be fair, I liked Soulcalibur III. Soulcalibur IV did have guest characters, but Soulcalibur V really was the one that almost killed the series.
Transcending history and the world, a tale of souls and swords eternally retold. Soul Edge, a legendary sword and devourer of souls. Buried in the darkest reaches of history, it was brought back to light in the 16th century. The notorious pirate Cervantes claimed the sword as his own, setting everything into motion. Soul Edge adapted itself to its new owner by splitting into two. Possessed by the evil weapons, Cervantes began a bloody reign of terror, slaying all those seeking the swords without prejudice. Cervantes was eventually undone. Under the protection of Hephaestus, the god of smithing, a female warrior named Sophitia was able to destroy one of the swords. Shards of the blade flew and lodged into her body, causing near mortal wounds. Seeing his chance, Cervantes raised his sword to deliver the final blow. Suddenly, there appeared a ninja known as Taki, who rescued the wounded warrior. Taki defeated Cervantes in a battle to the death before carrying the injured Sophitia away. However, one of Soul Edge's two blades still remained. Perhaps it was fate. The blade fell into the hands of Siegfried, whose mind was twisted and unwell. Light pierced the heavens, the product of rampant evil, the evil seed. No one could have predicted it would become a catalyst for catastrophe across the world. Our story takes place in the 16th century.
What an impressive summary. A summary that retold the events of Soul Edge. So you have the main menu. You have Welcome to Soulcalibur VI. This is the main menu where you can choose between different game modes and enjoy the different content Soulcalibur VI has to offer. Libra of Soul is a mission mode in which an entire story unfolds around a character of your creation. Along the way, some missions will allow you to play through battle tutorials, so it's highly recommended that you play this. You can also adjust your wireless controller settings from the options menu or by selecting controls in the pause menu. Once you get a feel of the game, you can customize them to match your playstyle. And this is it. This is the main story. It's mission mode, Libra of Soul. And this one, the story mode, Soul Chronicle. And you can, it's pretty much like arcade mode or something. And there is one. There is an arcade mode, which I will be doing much later, but the Soul Chronicle counts as a different story mode. You also have the online mode, you have the menu mode, options, and the PS Store, which you can purchase DLC. And there is a season pass that's available, which means Tira is one of them, and yet why she's a DLC character, I'll never know. But we're going to be starting things off with Libra of Soul, then Soul Chronicle, and then we'll do arcade with every character. So why don't we begin with Libra of Soul. and 9 save files. Let's do it.
The ray of light from the evil seed pierced the sky, its glow reaching as far as India. And here we find another person whose fate was entwined with the 2 swords.
Consumed by the evil seed, yet still with presence of mind. A link between chaos and this world. You are quite the interesting one. Still, you will eventually succumb to the chaos, unless you engrave a clear image of yourself onto your soul.
And now we can create a character of our own. Ain't that nice? This we can customize him however we see fit. And we can choose between anything, whether it be a human, an outcast, a lost soul, lizard man, mummy, automaton, shapeshifter, colossus, malfested, and all these are malfested, light and dark. Hidden village clan, malefic, lost soul, darksider, revenant, malfested. Wow. No, pretty average. Maleface 9. I like that. No, his hairs are actually pretty decent. Giving him a buzz cut would work. Nah, I kind of like this one. Short hair. Short hair would make a lot of sense.
Let's go. I can see the fear in your eyes. I can. What is this? You will die.
Ah, this I won't hold back.
Ah, young knight, which would work. Now you can also edit your color. Even your hair? Oh, what do you know? Black hair would work. Alright, we get to finish editing. Let's do it. And he has different styles you can choose. You have Katana, Zanbato, which is pretty much like a lance-based weapon. You have the Ninja Swords, which is like Taki. This is pretty much various different styles. Ninja Swords, Taki, Nunchaku will be Maxi, Ivy with a Snake Sword, Siegfried with Gateway Hander, Short Small or Small Shield. The guitars are Voldo, Kilik with the Rod, Sanghua, that's Yoshimitsu's, Nightmare's Wayhander, Elbow Blade, that's probably Talon, Rapier, Raphael, Cervantes, the Giant Axe, Sasamel, Double Saber, a Bipolar Pulse Enhancement Device? What's that? That's weird. You also have 2 long swords. Oh, is that it, huh? Fine, I'll stick with this Wayhander. And we'll switch to the default name of Cyprian. Yeah, because it works.
If you can keep a hold of who you are, you will be able to stave off the chaos. Now arise. Take up your weapon and fight. Your life depends on it.
So you want me to fight? Is that what you want? I'm game. At least the load times are pretty fast. And weird Prologue, 1584. When I woke up, my head was pounding. Maybe it was the nightmare I'd had, but I could barely catch my breath or stop shaking. You're finally awake. It seems you had quite the nightmare. A man in hood stood at my side. His appearance suggested someone quiet but strong-willed. My name is Soulcalibur, and I know what's happened to you. You were greatly affected by the evil seed. You escaped becoming a malfested, but I'm afraid you may not escape death. What do you know about the evil seed? It is a great evil that burst forth from Western Europe as a torrent of light and rained down around the world. And the malfested? They are beings whose bodies and minds have been twisted by evil. Symptoms vary, but some are known to become monsters. Many malfested lose all sense of reason, become violent, and attack people. Luckily for you, fate put you on a different path. What about the nightmare in my headache? Your body does not appear to have been altered by the evil seed. However, it seems to have affected to your soul, linking it to what is called the astral chaos. The astral chaos is a curious realm, where great powers collide. In time it will consume your soul, resulting in your death. Your nightmare and headache are a sign of what is to come. If you wish to continue living, come with me. I will teach you how to extend your life. The area next to Journey's Drawn is the Dojo of Drona, a martial arts master. Here we can play the battle tutorial. You can move from your current location to any location you visited by pressing square to open up. Let's head to the battle tutorial itself. And this is the basics, so we're now going to start our battle. I learned of a highly respected martial arts instructor in India named Rona, praised as the very model of a warrior. I made my way across treacherous mountains paths and traversed crumbling ledges before finally reaching my destination, a dojo surrounded by burbling mountain streams. To one side of the dojo, a diverse group of young warriors were enthusiastically practicing with weapons, having come from far and wide. I heard many of them even come from royal or noble bloodlines, unlike their master's humble roots. "Hail, traveler! What business do you have so deep in the mountains?" I told them my name and that I'd come here to learn. "Well, Saprin, I never refused anyone with a desire to learn. However, I live in seclusion because I've earned the ire of the local king. If you stay, you too may find yourself with a powerful enemy. Are you sure about this?" I nodded and he continued. "Very well. I will train you, but before we begin, let me see your skills." And that's proven fact. Now we teach on basics. This must be Edgemaster. Press and hold a direction with the D-pad or run in that direction. This is an 8-way run. Like so. You can also lightly press it to move down and such. And now we learn how to attack. You press square with a horizontal attack, triangle to form a vertical, circle with a kick. Perfect for close range combat. Ah, that's pretty simple. Rapidly press buttons to perform a combo. You can perform a basic combo by pressing square or triangle while pressing the D-pad forward. Now we learn how to guard, and guarding has a very simple button. You press and hold the X button against it. Guarding will protect you from attacks aimed at the upper body. And you can also down below to block low attacks. That's simple enough. Now we learn about the crouching guard, which is the same as a guard. You just press down while holding the X button. Like so. See that? This is going to help you against attacks that strike low. Regular standing guards high and mid attacks, while low will guard low. Low attacks are used to aim for your legs and can be performed by pressing down left and an attack button. Now we learn about the reversal edge. Press the hold the R1 button to perform a reversal edge, which will allow you to defend yourself while parrying your opponent's attack, and follow it up with your own. Like that. Successfully landing it, well, after taking that, you'll enter a clash phase, which is pretty much a rock, paper, scissors. Square beats circle, circle beats triangle, and triangle beats square. Sort of like rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, there you go. Clashes will normally occur after a successful reversal edge. However, if you time it, see that? You gotta parry it. Okay, I get it. Now we learn about the critical edge, which is pretty much the super moves. That's your soul gauge. Press the R2 while it's at 1 or higher, which will allow you to perform a critical edge, a special attack that inflicts a massive amount of damage.
On my honor. It's on. This is it. Farewell.
And this is gonna hurt.
Need help?
Yeah, it does work. Now with the soul charge. Press left and R2, which will allow you to perform a soul charge, which can send your opponent flying or temporarily increase the amount of damage you
I
deal.
won't retreat.
And yeah, you have a time limit for how long it takes.
On my honor.
So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of how this game works. You can also perform powerful techniques called fierce attacks while it's in effect. And it concludes the basic tutorial. So you got an idea of how this game works. And now for the battle tutorial. Defeat our opponent, huh?
I won't retreat.
And that did it. You appear to have mastered basic fighting techniques. Master Drona's expression grew clouded. Let me tell you a story. When I first began my training, I had a fellow disciple who was slightly older and always looked down on me. I wanted to prove myself against him, so I learned a powerful technique. And yet when the time came, I could not defeat him still. It turned out I was unable to actually use the technique when the choice came. My folly became evident. Instead of focusing on learning a flashy technique, I should have worked on improving my fundamental skills. So I dedicated myself to practicing them. When I was satisfied, I went to challenge him once again, but I was too late. He had lost his life in a war against a neighboring kingdom. This man had a son who claimed vengeance against the one who slew his father only half a year after earlier. Now he is a warrior even more skilled than his father was. Take this letter of introduction. If you have the chance, you should pay him a visit. I took Master Jonah's letter, thanked him, and left the dojo behind. And yeah, completing these unlocks player points, style points, and reward money. And this unlocks a brand new area. No. Let's change our location. No? Wait, that means I gotta continue on with the dojo. Alright, and we'll just move on to this. When I went to see Master Drona, he greeted me warmly. Today, our practice would focus on attacking. It's good to see you again. Master Drona greeted me with a warm smile when I arrived. To do what I owe the pleasure? Come to train, perhaps? If so, I applaud your dedication. Today, I'd like to teach about the many different attacks you can employ in battle. Now we learn about new technique, crouching attacks. While on a crouching guard, release X and press the attack button to perform a crouching attack. Oh, I see. So that's what rising attacks are. Like that. Alright, so that's how it works. You have to actually guard the crouch and then do that. Now we move on to dual button attacks. Press square triangle or triangle circle to perform a dual attack. This one provides a strong attack. This one performs a special action. And they differ with each character. So that's something. And it also has a break attack. You also have the 8-way run moves. Pressing an attack button during the 8-way run will allow you to perform a different attack. And at least they brought that back from Siegfried. Now throwing, which is pretty obvious. Throws are effective against techniques. You can press the L2 button or back an L2 to perform to have your opponent thrown. I always like it better when it's like square and X. That makes it easy. And now we move on to special attacks. Break attacks are characterized by streaks of lightning cannot be blocked with a reversal edge. These are unblockable attacks. Well, that's pretty simple, and I'm getting the hang of this game. I like how they also made it a game a bit simplified. That's all I know about attack types. Next, I'd like to teach you about the effects you can inflict on your opponent using the attacks. And we also get more experience. Now we move on to attack 2. This is one of the advanced tutorial. Offense is not about attacking wildly. In order to claim victory, you must know when and where to use what technique. So let us begin your next lesson. Now we learn how to counter. Now we're focusing on more defensive. Attacking your opponents performs certain actions which can increase the damage and a number of hits. Come on. Yep. Okay, you have to attack them while they're doing it. So that's what a counter it does. The nuts missed it. Now for stuns. Certain attacks will send yellow streaks of lightning, causing them to stagger. Attacking a stun opponent also becomes a counter effect. You gotta become stunned by your opponent's attack. So that's how it works. And now crushing an opponent's guard. Continuing attack will cause their health gauge to begin flashing and eventually red. Attacking your opponent in such a manner will cause them to crush their guard. Yep, see your gauge like that? You can't just defend so much. And there you go, Guard Crush. I'm reminded of Alpha 3 with that Guard Crush system. And now with lethal hits. Lethal landing attacks under certain conditions while encountering a reversal edge will register your attack as a lethal edge. Successfully performing will slow down time. Oh, come on. And oh, I had no idea you can do that. Yeah.
All right. All right. Not again.
Yeah, broken.
All right. All right.
That works. A list of the various conditions and attacks that can trigger lethal hits will be found in the move list. And yes, sometimes lethal hits can also lead to your armor breaking out, which is rather humorous to say the least. You've grown more skilled, but as you continue to advance, you will no doubt eventually find yourself against a seemingly insurmountable wall. Let me tell you a story from my past. When I was young, I traveled the world as an internet warrior. One day I was in the distant north of the Ming Empire in a place called Sichuan. I told Jonah that Sichuan was in the southwest of the Ming Empire, but he simply looked at me puzzled. It is? Really? Well, wherever it may be, I was there. And let me tell you, there was a tribe of fierce warriors. It was during my time with them I met Hong Yu. Hong Yu was a strong and beautiful young woman. Her slender limbs wielded a blade with great finesse, and her strikes were quick as lightning. She could fend off any attack, nimbly moving like a young willow tree in the breeze. I immediately fell in love with her. However, she told me she could never love me unless I could best her in combat. In a contest of strength, I beat her easily, but her defense was impenetrable. My attacks were blocked, parried, or avoided. I couldn't even touch her. That was because I had not yet learned how to pierce a talented foe's defense. I have learned a thing or two since then, such as the effectiveness of throws against an opponent who rarely lets their guard down, and that there are special techniques that break through any guard. But back then she defeated me and said she had no interest in the weak. I left, trained as hard as I could, and eventually returned to face her again. Unfortunately, she is already with another. If you ever pass through Sichuan, it would do you well to see her skills for yourself. I'm sure the experience will come in handy. Vowing to take his advice to heart, I left the dojo. Another tutorial done. Now we're learning about defense. Yep, this is pretty much basics. Take care, and don't ever sell the skills you learn here, got it? Yes, Master. Thank you so much for everything. I promise that one day I'll come back to visit. With those parting words, his student bowed, then began trudging down the mountain path away from the dojo. Sorry to keep you waiting. Back for more training, are you? Well, come on in. When I asked about the man who had just left, Master Drona told me how he was a student who had come from the desert in the northern reaches of the Ming Empire. On my way home from my romantic defeat at the hands of Hong Yui, a man saved my life in the desert. The student you just saw came here on that man's recommendation. The desert? To reach India from Sichuan, you have to head southwest. The desert was in the complete opposite direction. What's with the perplexed look? Oh, I get it. Training first, talking later. Well, today I'm going to teach about guarding and evading. Hope you guys don't mind this, because I'm just pretty much doing... Yeah, this is pretty much the basics. If you want to get the hang of Soul Calibur, this is how. And the tutorials are very solid. Now you evade vertical attacks. You can dodge your opponents by moving into the foreground or the background with an 8-way run.
So weak.
Come on.
So weak. So weak.
Like that. That's how you do it. Now evade high attacks. Performing a crouching guard will allow you to protect yourself against not only low attacks, but also dodging high attacks. Like so. Attacks on the command list are marked with these buttons. High, medium, low, SM, and SL. Special, middle, and special low attacks. Interesting. Now to evade low attacks. Hold up while guarding the jump, pressing up and the attack button. Okay. Okay, so that's how it's done. Jump up and dare. Oh, grapple breaks. Grapple breaks allow you to free yourself. They can be formed by pressing the attack button and removing your guard. Like that.
I will.
This is it.
Whoops. Like so. A back escape. Regular and a back escape. A grapple break can still be performed as you continue to guard by rapidly pressing any of the buttons while holding X. By doing this, you can not only guard against your middle attacks, but also avoid being thrown, making it a defensive technique. But it will not work on throws where flames emit from the hands when the opponent is grabbed. Very good. Those are the fundamentals of defense. Your lessons after this will be much harder. Much harder? How so? Now, training defense 2. This is an advanced tutorial. Evading an attack entirely is usually the best option, but in a serious battle you don't always have that luxury. When you're pressed hard by a dangerous opponent, what do? Well, I'll teach you some techniques that will help you grasp victory from the jaws of defeat. The Ukemi. When knocked back down, press N and X just as you hit the ground to perform an Ukemi. Like that. If you remember from Beautiful Joe, the Ukemi lets him recover. It's pretty much sort of like a recovery move. And it cannot be performed after certain types of attacks, such as many of those that hit you up into the air. If you can't perform it, you can always do a follow attack from your opponent by either guarding or rolling to the side. Now wake-up actions. You can rise from the ground and immediately guard by pressing X while on the ground. Okay. Get up while on the ground. Alright. Isn't that pretty simple at this best? This one you can use up or down or roll, which lets you be able to move sideways. Now you have aerial control. You can control where you fall after landing launched in the air. Well, that's simple. Yeah, this one you move either up left or down left. This one teaches us on guard impacts.
What?
There you go. And these guard impacts are sort of like parries. Now this one's on reverse impacts. Having your attack repelled by your opponent will leave you vulnerable. There you go, reverse impact like an anti-parry. And using a reverse impact can cause a lethal hit and a break attack. You're not limited to just reverse impacts. You can also use a reversal edge. Reverse impacts are perfect for countering your faster attacks, and reversal edges are the opposite, which lets you repel slow attacks. Learning the proper techniques for dealing with all of your opponent's different attacks is the key to victory. That's that. That was pretty good. After the fight, Drona got a nostalgic look on his face and continued the story from earlier. To be quite honest, I have a habit of accidentally going somewhere entirely different from where I intended. That's how I ended up wandering for 3 days and nights in the Gobi Desert. I was on my last legs when a merchant caravan found me. They took me to Kashgar, and that's where I met one incredible fellow. His name was Kilik. He was a weaponsmith and a talented warrior. He could fight with any weapon and any style under the sun. In battle, he was relentless, giving his opponent very little opportunity to act. He always said he fought to test out the weapons he made, but it was hard to believe he thought of fighting so casually. I'd never met a fiercer warrior. If only I'd known how to deflect attacks while I was on the defensive, I might have been able to put him off balance. Alas, it was all I could do to block his attacks at the time, and before I knew it, I was defeated. If you're ever in Kashgar, I recommend you go see Kilik. He's an expert warrior and a first-rate weaponsmith. You won't regret meeting him. A warrior smith? He did sound like someone I'd like to meet. I decided to keep Drona's recommendation in mind. Another one done. And now we're learning about Advanced Reversal Edge. The sun had barely risen when I went to visit him. Our lesson today would be about tactics, deepening your knowledge on the Reversal Edge. You're up early again. Good. Diligence and hard work are the keys to developing a skilled hand and sound body. Your dedication is admirable. Now let's get to your final lesson. I'm talking about the clashes that emerge in the heat of battle which require you to think on your feet. So now we're ready for our final lesson. The Reversal Edge Clash, a stalemate. Pressing the same button as your opponent during a clash in a Reversal Edge will result in a stalemate.
Alright. 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 Alright.
Oh, that ain't it. Wait, where are my controls?
Alright.
R2 ain't it.
Alright.
I already know about the break attack.
Alright. This to victory. Alright. This on my honor. Alright. Give up.
Here we go. That's the first round. Here's the second. Reaching a stalemate where your opponent isn't the only way you can extend it. If you press triangle while the opponent does the reversal clash, like that. Pressing triangle in the second round and forcing your opponent, the guard will always crush their guard. In case one guard doesn't enough, you use a second. And now it's movement. You can also move during the clash after a reversal edge by pressing the D-pad in any direction. Forward to dodge, move forward round to avoid, or move back to evade.
Give up. Too easy.
Ooh, this can provide a lot of interesting options. And now to counter reversal edges. A reversal edge can be a defensive technique. It's not without its flaw. Break attacks and unblockable attacks aren't affected by reversal edges.
All right.
Without its flaws, I'd say.
All right. All right. All right.
Let me check my move list on this. This will not be easy. No, reversal edge attacks. I'm looking for unblockable attacks. They have it in different categories, too. This is tough. An attack immune.
Not again! This is it! Grant me victory!
Ah, land an attack immune in the reversal edge.
Grant me victory!
Come on.
Grant me victory!
There's the unblockable. Attacks performed after a reversal dodge can always be vertical. You can always use this in an advantage. Like that. That took me a while to understand. At least I'm getting the hang of it now. But it was a rather tough lesson. That was a well-fought sparring match. From the flow of that battle, I can see your training has so far been time well spent. Flow, you ask? That's right. Battles ebb and flow just like the tides. You need to read that flow and think 3 moves ahead if you want to win. That's the secret. Speaking of which, remember that merchant caravan that picked me up in the Gobi Desert? They ended up hiring me on as a guard, and together we traveled down to a port in Persia. It was a big city, so I figured I could find a ship that'd take me back to India. As luck would have it, I soon boarded a trading ship on the way to India, which promptly was sunk by a raging tempest right as we left the Persian Gulf. For days, I floated on a piece of driftwood until I washed up on the shores of Africa. My clothes were tattered and torn, but I still had my weapon. Of course, that just made the natives think I was a pirate, and I soon found myself fighting off a local warrior by the name of Wold. I like to believe that he evenly matched in strength and speed, but Wold was far more experienced than I. He could read the flow of battle like a book. I couldn't, and whenever we clashed, I foolishly tried to pull off the same move time and time again. That's why I lost. Fortunately, I managed to clear up the misunderstanding. Wold and I grew close, and eventually we swore an oath of friendship. He invited me into his home in Axum, and that's where I met his sister, the woman who would become my wife. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Axum, be sure to meet Wold. He's an incredible warrior. And if you wouldn't mind, please tell him I'm extremely grateful for everything he's done for me, and that his sister and I are both healthy and happy. And that takes care of it. And that's pretty much that. We already completed everything. And now we gotta return to Journey's Dawn, the astral fissure. If what Soulcalibur told me was true, and there was a way to extend my life, I had to try it. I pursued him through a forest, but what lay ahead was a fate I could never have conceived. The air was stifling, and each step forward requested an immense amount of effort. Soulcalibur, however, seemed to proceed unfazed. Eventually, my eyes were greeted by something beyond my own imagination. This is an astral fissure, a rip in space-time. It is caused by the great power that flows through the earth and the evil dispersed by the evil seed. To continue living, you will need to obtain the power of the astral fissure. Naturally, it is easier said than done. Astral fissures exude a massive amount of force that will either destroy anyone weak who dare approach it, or turn him into a malfested. However, when someone with great power approaches, a flash of light will bring with it a visitor. Don't just sit there surprised. Looks like you got a fight on your hands. And I did the tutorial just to set myself up for this. For this one moment. Everything that I've learned.
Battle 1. Fight.
Our objective is to defeat this foe, a berserker. That's did it. He's charged up.
I won't retreat.
Yeah, and unblockable certainly did help. And that fight wasn't long. The attacker burst into particles of light that soon faded. Those freakish warriors, berserkers, appear when the strong approach an astral fissure, perhaps in response to their power. Berserkers come from the memories of warriors who sought strength. To defeat them, you simply must be stronger. There is no other way. However, you can obtain phenomenal power from the fissure, which will enable you to continue living and provide resistance to astral chaos's attempts to devour your soul. If you can withstand it, you will no longer have to fear for your life. Now claim your power from the astral fissure. Encouraged by Sasalama, I thrust my arms into the fissure. A surge of light burst forth, flowing through my arms and into my body. My heart pounded as my body began burning feverishly. As long as the scattered evil and the Earth's power remain, they will continue to appear. I hear that there is another on the outskirts of a village to the southeast. That's all I can tell you. Before you go, take this. Sasalama revealed a set of scales, on top of which fluttered a blue flame and a red flame. They are spirit scales, otherwise known as the Libra of Soul. Take them. Your body is overflowing with energy from it. It is the power of chaos and order. The state of your soul will determine which power you draw from. The scales will reveal to you which way your soul will lead. It should help you to maintain control. Now you must embark on a journey to save your life. So long. And that takes care of it. We leveled up. And we reached from level 1 to level 4. Very nice. We earned the trophy, The Stirrings of a Soul. And thus begins Chapter 1. The journey begins. But we will be taking care of that in the next part. This first part is meant to serve as a tutorial for anyone to get the idea. I didn't want to skip it, and even if I did, why would I? I want to make sure I get the hang of this game. That is going to be it for the first part of Libra of Soul. Next time we will move on to part 2, so look forward to that when it comes. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and more importantly, click the bell. Doing all this helps me out big time, and if you want to support the channel, consider supporting me on Patreon. All it takes is $1 a month. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out.